Thorn still couldn't believe that the ritual had healed her hand. She was liking Wicca more and more by the minute. Today was going to be an incredible day. The girls were set to record their first music video ever, as well as starting their first album. It was when Thorn had always dreamed of, and it was all happening in a week. This was going to be much more fun than going to work with her dad. Wait. Shit! Thorn swore out loud. She was supposed to be working this morning. All of them were. Actually, maybe the two had realized that they hadn't told Thorn, but since Thorn went to bed before, Dusk and Luna got home last night. Regardless, she would have to call her father and ask if he'd be willing to give her the day off. She had gotten so excited about recording the album, she hadn't stopped thinking about the other responsibilities for the day. At least this was the only day she would have to ask off, as the rest of the recording sessions next week would be in the afternoon. She quickly leaped out of bed and changed into the black and red dress. It was the same one she had worn for the previous year's Autumn Fest. Thorn thought that she would look good in it for a music video. Thorn raced out of her room to go update the other girls about the condition and called her father to see if he'd be willing to give her the day off. "Good morning, Thorn. How's your hand?" Luna asked. She was in a dark purple dress that she already put on makeup, with the latter of being something Thorn still had to do. "It's so much better. It doesn't hurt at all anymore," Thorn informed. "Well, that was quick." Luna looked surprised. "Bridget, Nia, and Sam did a healing ritual with me last night, and I think it helped it heal," Thorn explained. This caused Dusk to look up from the paper she was reading. She appeared to be having makeup on already, and had donned a green dress. Dusk's face looked like she was suspicious of Thorn's explanation. "You're saying magic healed your hand?" "Well, kind of. Not really magic," Thorn elaborated. "More positive energy." "So if I want $1,000,000, I would have to be a super positive and then wake up with it in the morning?" Dusk teased. "No, it's not how it works," Thorn laughed. The feeling was more like she was being mocked, whenever Dusk intended to or not. "Well, I'm glad your hand is healed," Luna responded. "We've had a lot of bad luck lately." At first, Thorn didn't even think of it, until she saw the sun from the window reflecting on the medallion around Dusk's neck. That was one she had found at the Autumn Fest. "Maybe that medallion is really bad luck," Thorn shivered. "Aw, now don't start that shit again," and Dusk snapped. Bridget then looked at the medallion and said it was fine, so stop worrying. That feeder guy was an asshole and took advantage of you. And then I accidentally hurt your hand. Both perfectly logical explanations. "Okay," Thorn said, uncertainty, trying to push the thought out of her head. "Did you call Jack yet, by the way? We're not going to be able to work today if we're recording all day." "Oh yeah, I talked to him last night and he was fine with it. He said that our music should always be the priority, and he just appreciated me helping out," Dusk recounted. "I even called my dad and we got home last night too," Luna said. "He said that I could have the day off." "Well, I've still got to go talk to my dad," Thorn blushed, embarrassed that she had waited until the hour from her shift to inform him. "I'm glad you're feeling better, Thorn," Luna said, as Thorn rushed for the phone. "Thanks," Thorn said as she dialed her father's number and let it ring. "Hello?" her father asked. "Hi, Daddy," Thorn greeted. "I've got some exciting news and some bad news." "Alright, I guess. Give me the bad news first." Robert sounded a bit worried. "Is it okay if I don't come into work today?" Thorn asked. She was planning to quickly explain why, which was the good news, but her dad responded before she could. "Of course, honey. What's wrong?" The level of concern in Robert's voice increased. "Oh, nothing's wrong," Thorn reassured. "Our manager Gus wants us to start recording our first album today. We'll have to record it all by next week." "That's not bad news at all," Robert exclaimed. "I'm proud of you, Sally. I'll get along fine on my own. It's always helpful with you around, but the job is more supposed to be helpful for you, so you could pay back your car repair. I never wanted to be a burden or inconvenience to you." "Thanks, Daddy," Thorn beamed with excitement. "I haven't told you that we were recording our music video next week." "Wow, you girls are really starting off your career with a bang," Robert replied. "Go and record your songs, honey. I'll be fine." "Thank you so much. Have a great day," Thorn exclaimed. Robert said. Thorn assumed that there was a "to" at the end of the sentence, but she was so excited that she hung up before he could finish his phrase. Thorn couldn't be more excited than she was right now. Her dream was finally coming true. Dusk pulled in the soccer mom van into the parking lot, the first that she could find at Decade Records. It had been weeks since that she had driven. It made more sense for Thorn to drive, given her work was more conveniently placed. As the two other girls freed Luna from being pressed up against near the rear passenger door due to the bulk of instruments. It almost felt as if they didn't even notice how heavy it was to lift all of her instruments at all. The strength of their excitement was far greater than the drudgery of having to carry the heavy instruments. All the girls bounded to the building, but paused just as they reached the front doors. "After we come here next week, we'll have our record the entire first album," Thorn said. It was a simple statement, but it was such a shocking one that all of the girls felt strong emotions, even when they heard the black-haired goth say it out loud. "I filmed our first music video," Luna added. "Whoa," Dusk gasped. Thorn opened the door to see a surprised Gus standing on the other side. The girls were surprised as well, if they weren't quite expecting to see Gus standing right there after the door. "Oh," Gus chuckled, "you gave me quite a fright there. I was just coming out to greet you if you arrived." "No worries," Thorn laughed. "Today's the big day, girls. After a few times in the studio, your first album will be completed," Gus stated. Even though Thorn had just almost had the exact same thing a minute ago, still didn't hit her any less hard. Thorn never felt so exhilarated in her life. All the girls followed their manager back to the recording booth, which it had surprisingly only been a couple of rooms away from Gus's office. "Well, here it is," Gus pointed out the open door. The room had a large switchboard sitting on the desk, with two chairs side by side. There were a few hundreds of bottoms on the switchboard, which made it than Thorn could imagine ever needing. Thorn's eye then caught on the red big button towards the top marked record. Right behind the switchboard was a door. "Hang in there, ladies," Gus ushered as he opened the door to reveal the recording booth. There were 3 microphones, as well as a loud sound system behind it, with amplifiers to hook onto their instruments up to. The wall was facing the switchboard in the main room, was entirely made out of glass, so the switchboard operator could see them as their song was recorded. Forrest suddenly felt more pressure than she ever had when singing. Normally she was worried about looking momentarily foolish in front of the audience. Now she had to record what she had to for the official versions of the song, so that way people around the world could hear. It didn't feel like so much pressure for their Hexed girl, as if they recorded a long time ago for a music class project. Back then, they had never expected to be that famous, when they were simply trying their best for the grade, rather than and they were recording the song for the whole world to hear. "Once you girls are set up with your instruments, let me know, and I'm all ready to start recording when you are," Gus informed. Thorn quickly then hooked up her guitar to the amplifier, as the other girls attached their instruments to the sound system. "We're ready," Thorn said, as Dusk and Luna nodded in agreement. "Okay, this is an exciting moment, girls," Gus explained. "Remember, if you ever messed up or need to stop, let me know and we can record it until you're happy with it." "Got it," Dusk replied. "We were going to record with Earth, Wind, Fire, and Air, correct?" Luna asked. "Correct." "Alright, we are recording in 3, 2, 1. Gus counted down. Thorn began to strum the chords on the guitar as Luna completely played her keyboard, and Dusk began to hit her drums with the repetitive respective sticks. "Earth, water," Thorn sang, before getting red in the face when she immediately realized that she messed up. Shit, I'm sorry, you guys. Don't be sorry, Luna assured. It's fine. That comforted her for a moment, until she saw Gus got up from his chair and opened the door at the recording booth. Hopefully he wasn't going to be upset for her messing up already on the second word. Fawn, it's okay, Gus spoke. I could tell you're putting a lot of pressure on yourself, which is why you made such a silly mistake. Ford immediately realized that this was true. I know this has to be perfect. I just don't want to sound silly when we're going to be official versions of our songs. Ford immediately realized that it was true, but of course, she looked up. That's exactly what's happening though. When you're putting too much pressure on yourself, Gus pointed out, I don't want you to be thinking about other people, what they think of your music. The most important part of music is remembering what you have to say. It needs to be acoustic to you. You're right, Thorne agreed. Gus's statement helped her realize that there was no reason to put pressure on herself intentionally, so that way would be the final versions. Gus was right. They could always record if Thorne messed up, or wasn't happy with the final product. I'm glad you realize now that you're ready to start over, Thorne, Gus asked. Yes, Thorne said. Remember, don't think about what other people want to hear from you. They don't get to tell you what to sing. You get to tell them the message you want them to hear through your music, Gus reminded. You have done the whole working thing in 10 full wonderful songs. Now it is time for something that you're proud of. You couldn't just be more right. I think I am ready to record our first album, Thorne decided. Good, are you girls feeling all right? Gus turned his attention to Dusk and Luna. Yeah, Dusk nodded. We're good, Luna acknowledged. Okay, Gus smiled as he left the room. He began speaking through the glass again once he sat back down on his chair by the switchboard. Let's take it from the top. We're starting over in 3, 2, 1, Gus counted. Once Thorne took Gus's advice and stopped putting so much pressure on herself, it felt very much like the girls were just performing for fun, rather than just trying to create some perfect product for the world's approval. If people liked it, great, but if they don't care for it, then the girls will still create their amazing songs that was meant something for them. You girls did excellent job today, Gus said, as then he came into the recording room as the girls finished recording. They had recorded 3 more of their songs, Earth, Wind, Fire, and Air, The Witch's Ghost, and Hoodoo Voodoo. Thanks, Gus, Luna appreciated it. Recording just a few more songs was more tiring than I thought, Thorne commented. I'm a little tired. Oh, I was just going to ask about you girls your cover, Gus remembered. And all this time, I actually have seen the album covers. Dusk blushed a little, remembering her previous mistake. Well, I was thinking maybe we could post some shots for a night at the cemetery or something. Well, you're indeed correct. That's what people would expect in a goth band. Gus nodded, not looking fully satisfied. However, I can't help but feel that you guys are still catering to your thinking people would want to be, rather than who you are. I mean, I guess, Thorne shrugged. Album covers are supposed to be glamorous and flashy, though. My dear, I'm afraid that's one of the worst stereotypes in the industry. Gus then shook his head in disdain. The album cover isn't supposed to be a fashion show. It recovers the artist to ask themselves what images they effusively represents these songs. Thorne, Dusk, and Luna blankly stared at Gus for a moment. They most certainly understood his argument, but they couldn't really think of what represented all 12 of these songs. Think about it this way, Gus rephrased. There is a special memory that you've had for a while making the album. Do you think that defines these songs? It was really hard to say, given the process of making the album had gone so fast. It was just a few weeks ago, where they were only still halfway through the album. Nitpicking over every single detail, that was almost felt like a distant memory for Thorne. One thing she did remember well, however, was the Autumn Fest. The girls were finishing up their last year of high school at that time, and they had always dreamed about making an album. But it was just that, a dream. That is, until Mayor Corey invited them to perform at Autumn Fest a month before it took place. This was all ultimately pushed the girls to start writing more songs. Before they had just manually done the covers songs by other artists and made him a few embarrassing songs that they never really shared with the world. This was of course because of how cringy they were, but also it felt like personal, meaningful memory that the girls don't want to share with the whole world. There's a picture of us at the Autumn Fest, Thorn finally answered. That it was around the time when we started writing more original songs beyond Hex Girl. That was for a class project. Oh yeah, Dusk said in awe. That would be a great album cover. You mean the one that we're standing up on stage after the show? Luna periodically asked. That would be awesome. That sounds like a great choice of album cover, Gus agreed. If you get the picture to me as possible, I would love to have your CD in production by Monday and finished by midweek, of course. You wouldn't need to release it that fast. I could send it out and call out the mass production as soon as you wanted me to. Wow, really? Thorn gasped. Absolutely, Gus confirmed. It doesn't really take that long for a mass-produce a CD. In fact, it only takes about 3 seconds to press information into a disc. That's so quick, Luna exclaimed. Yes, and it's much quicker than people think, Gus said, momentarily looking up the clock. I see it's already a few minutes before noon. Would you girls like a lunch break before recording the music video? That would be a nice... Yeah, Thorn said, right after her stomach rumbled. We could run home and eat lunch, and that way we could get the picture, Dusk suggested. Great idea, Luna agreed. Wonderful. Let's plan to meet back here in an hour to film the music video, Gus planned. Sounds good to me, Thorn responded before turning to Luna and Dusk. Oh my gosh, once we get him in this image, we will have our CD in a freaking week. Well, we don't need to get that crazy, Luna laughed, but it's a cool thought. Thorn, Dusk, and Luna returned to Gus's office with their picture. Upon returning, Gus was finishing up the last few bites of his turkey sandwich for his lunch. We got the picture, Gus, Thorn informed, and I've got the video camera. Gus piggybacked while chuckling lightly. Girls, I'd like to meet our cameraman, Rick. Nice to meet you, Rick greeted. Each of the girls gave the same in return. Now, run it by me. How exactly are you wanting this music video to start? Gus inquired. Well, we are thinking of something like this, Luna previewed. Thorn and Luna's hair swayed in the gentle breeze as the girls walked into Decade Records with hopeful looks on their faces. All of them were carrying their instruments. Do you think this is our big break, Thorn? Luna inquired. We've been working on releasing this song for over a year now. It has to be, Thorn believed. The producer would be a fool not to love this, Dusk exclaimed. As they got in the building, the girls had walked up past posters of Bob Dylan, The Cure, and John Bovey, the main entrance. Looking cautiously optimistic, Thorn knocked on the manager's door. Come in, the manager's voice called. Hi, we're the Hex Girls, Thorn introduced. I'm Thorn. I'm Dusk, and I'm Luna. Yes, Gus sneered. Well, don't expect me to learn your names. I only bother to learn the names of artists who vow me. Really? Okay, then? Luna questioned with a hint of sadness in her voice. If he wants us to show him who we are, well, let's do it, Dusk exclaimed. After a moment of setting up, Thorn picked up her guitar and her hands began to play. Hit it, sisters! Thorn yelled. Thorn began playing her guitar as Luna's hands tapped the keyboard and Dusk fused her drumsticks to hit her drums with great force. Stop, stop, stop! Gus shouted. Is there a problem? Thorn asked. Well, there is just one, Gus stated calmly, before raising his voice. Your music's terrible! I've heard dogs play better than that. Now get out of my office immediately and stop wasting your time. What's with this jerkword's problem? Thorn snapped in an annoyed voice. This dude just doesn't seem to get it. He's probably never racked out a day in his life. Luna rolled her eyes. Hey, if this guy is not gonna give it our chance to our music, we'll make him give a chance, Dusk threatened as she began to play her drums again. Yeah, let's make this old geezer with the old good times, Thorn snarked. Hey, I'm only 35, Gus interjected. Shut up, Foreign said as she started playing the guitar with the opening chords of Hexed in their guitar. I'm gonna cast a spell on you, Foreign sang, fretting, as the girls made the motion to cast a spell on Gus. You're gonna do what I want you to. Stop this nonsense right now, young ladies, Gus shouted. I do not allow this insubordination in my office. Foreign did a mixing motion with her guitar as she sang the next line. Mix it up here in my little bowl. Say a few words and you'll lose control. The girls then raised their vocal tones a bit louder than for the chorus. I'm a hex girl, and I'm gonna put a spell on you. We're gonna put a spell on you. Dusk and Luna then echoed. I'm a hex girl, and I'm gonna put a spell on you, Foreign sang. Put a spell on you. Dusk and Luna then once again echoed, this time threatening Gus with a hand motion. It appears as if they were casting a hex on him. You feel the fog as I cloud your mind. Foreign then began the second verse. Hey, this isn't bad, Gus realized, speaking his line as the girls continued to sing. You'll get dizzy when I make the sign, Foreign sang, as she sang the next line. She crossed her hands over her face, making it look like her fingers almost claws-like as she slowly uncrossed them. You'll wake up in the dead of night, missing me when I'm out of sight. I'm a hex girl, and I'm gonna put a spell on you. Foreign repeated the first line of the chorus. We're gonna put a spell on you. Dusk and Luna added. This is really good. Gus's opinion shifted. I'm a hex girl, and I'm gonna put a spell on you, Foreign sang. Oh, yeah! Dusk and Luna changed it up. With this little cobweb potion. Foreign then took her fingers on her right hand and intertwined with them as the free fingers on her left hand. She then lifted her intertwined fingers into her heart and then gave Gus a fiercely sutury look. You'll fall into dark devotion if you ever lose affection. I can change your whole direction. Why are you the best band I've ever heard? Gus exclaimed, looking completely shocked. I'm a hex girl, and I'm gonna put a spell on you. Foreign began the final chorus. We're gonna put a spell on you. Dusk and Luna interjected. I'm a hex girl, and I'm gonna put a spell on you. Foreign sang her last line. I'm singing, you girls are immediately, Gus exclaimed as he pulled out a contract. This is exactly what the music industry needs right now. We don't work for people, people work for us, Dusk sassed as she took out the contract of her own for Gus to sign. Of course, this future of the music industry, Gus joyfully cried out, as he surprisingly removed any poster of any musician from his wall and tossing them to the ground after signing the girl's contract. We're gonna put a spell on all of you, the girls concluded, bearing their fake fangs, which they had made sure to put them on when they went back to the apartment for lunch. Even Gus then joined in the final line. Cut print scene, Gus exclaimed, motioning for Rick to turn off his camera. Wonderful job, girls. I hope I didn't come off too mean. Of course not, Foreign laughed. We just hope you didn't come off that mean either. Not all you girls, Gus chuckled. You are excellent actresses. Did you get all that, Rick? Yep, everything looks good, Rick responded. Stupendous. I think the whole video turned out amazing. I quite like the symbolism of you girls coming into the music industry and disrupting the status quo by convincing me to like your song, Gus informed. There was even some nice humor at the end with my characters amusing their reaction of removing all the other musicians' posters from the wall. I think this video is going to be groundbreaking for you girls. It definitely is a bit quirky, but it's something different than what everyone else is doing. It sets apart from all the other artists. Thanks, Gus, Luna appreciated. When do you want this to come out? Dusk inquired. Soon, preferably, Thorn suggested. The interest for our song is clearly happening right now, so we want to give these people what they want. I agree, Luna responded. We just don't want to wait too long. Besides, maybe the music video is going to help boost the chart of the performance even more. Yeah, that makes more sense to me, Dusk said. How quick can we get this out, Gus? There is a tad bit of editing to remove the parts of you guys setting up the instruments and adding special effects for the part, where you look like you're putting a spell on me, the Final Cut Pro. It's kind of like a software that just came out. All the music labels are using it, makes the process much more easier than having to splice all together footage like we used to, Gus noted. I imagine I could just be on television stations in time to air this in the morning premiere of the Block 2 Sundays from now. Whoa, Dusk gasped. That was so quick. The music industry has to quickly remain relevant to the people's interests, Gus explained. Some people take longer than others to produce their material, but for artists that don't have established flowing, it's important to ensure that they're releasing things of somewhat timely manner so that people do not lose interest. This made Thorn a little more pressured. She wasn't a big fan of being hesitant to decisions before she had a hard time to think about things, but it appeared that industry somewhat required it. Girls, why don't you follow me into the editing room? Gus said, leading the girls backwards towards the direction of his office. As the girls followed him, they quickly realized that this was in fact leading them to his office. The editing room is just your office? Luna inquired. Well, we just can't have a room for everything, Gus blushed.